Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video we will study about the regression or regression analysis. Regression is a technique used for modeling and analyzing the data. With the help of regression, we create different models or equations for prediction, estimation or for forecasting. This is the most important topic of these statistics, because all the prediction, forecasting and estimation of the dependent variable with the help of independent variable, and how we construct the regression equation or model. This is the most important thing. The first step is the scatter diagram. With the help of scatter diagram, we select the model and then estimate the unknown parameters of the models for forecasting or prediction or fitted equation or regression equations. So what is the scatter diagram? This is the most important thing for regression. Suppose x is independent and y is dependent variable. In any equation, any model, we have two types of variable, independent and dependent. If we plot the corresponding pairs of n observations of x and y, x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3 and so on up to x and yn. x1, x2 is the values of x, y1, y2 and so on up to yn is the values of y. If you plot the collected data, observations or paired observations or pairs of the values on graph, the resulting set of points is called a scatter diagram. You can observe in this diagram, this is the scatter plot. If you represent the values of the x and y on xy plane, x-axis and y-axis on graph, these point is called scatter diagram. Represent the scatter diagram. Do not join the points. If you join the points, it's called graph, but this is the diagram. So a scatter diagram shows the relationship between two variables. Between two variables means independent and dependent variable. When two variables tend to increase or decrease together, we say that there is a positive relationship between the variables. Increase or decrease simultaneously. From this diagram you can observe value of x is increasing here and y is also increasing. Is also called directly proportional. And relationship is called positive relationship between variables. For example, positive relationship exists between blood pressure and age, because blood pressure increases on the average as age increases. On the average is the important word, because on the average means maybe less or more. Exact mean exact value, but on the average mean you have a large number of observations. With the help of large number of observations, n's observation, you will obtain the average value. On the other hand, when one variable increases, the other decreases, or vice versa, opposite of this. The relationship that exists is called a negative relationship between the variables. So here in this diagram you can observe the value of x is increasing right hand side. Value of x is increasing because the value of x increase from 0 to infinity right hand side. So y is decreasing. So this is the negative relationship. For example, negative relationship exists between price and supply of commodities. Commodities means consumer items, because price increases as supply decreases. If price decrease, supply will be increase. When supply increase, price will be decrease. So from the scatter diagram, it is possible to visualize a smooth curve approximating the data. Approximating the data means with the help of all observations you can decide about the relationship of the data or variables. If the data point appear to be approximated approximately by a straight line, this, if you draw a line between these point or these point, the line would be approximately straight. Then the relationship between the variables is called the linear relationship. Otherwise, like this is not a linear, non-linear, otherwise non-linear. So we have a large number of non-linear relationship. This type of graph is called exponential. Maybe this graph like this, maybe in J shape, V shape, U shape with one curve, two curve, etc. And this graph, this diagram represents no relationship between the variables. There is no trend. Okay. So with the help of a scatter diagram, we select the model. If the graph is linear may be positive linear, negative linear, directly proportional, inversely proportional. When the graph is linear, approximately linear, we select the equation of a straight line, y equal to a plus bx. And non-linear equation may be y equal to a into e power x, b power x, or maybe quadratic equation y equal to a plus bx plus cx square, and so on. Okay. Now next definition about the regression. Regression is a technique used for modeling and analysis of numerical data. With the help of numerical data, we construct the models. Model means equation, any estimated fitted equation or regression line. If y is dependent variable and x is independent variable or variables, the process of estimation of dependent variable from independent variable is known as regression. So with the help of regression line, fitted line, we will fit the line, obtain the line or model with the help of data and observations. After the equation, we use the fitted equation for estimation of the value of y or dependent variable with the help of one independent variable, maybe more than one variable. The whole process is called regression. Dependent variable is also called outcome or response variable. Independent variable is also called predictor or explanatory variable. This is the alternate term used in statistics. This is a general method of the regression. And what is the linear regression? Linear regression is a statistical technique that is used to quantify the relationship between one or more independent variables and one dependent variable, same as this regression. If y is to be estimated from x by an equation, the equation is known as regression equation of y on x, and the corresponding curve is known as regression curve of y on x. If you have one value of y and one value of x, equation is called the regression equation of y on x, and curve or graph is called y on x. When two variables are involved, the analysis is known as simple regression, one y and one x, one dependent, one independent. When two variables are involved, the analysis is known as simple regression if there are three or more variables involved. Three or more variables means one dependent, two independent. Okay, the analysis is known as multiple regression. In simple regression, we have one dependent, one independent. In multiple, one independent, two or more than two independent variables. The total will be three or more than three variables. And equation of this linear regression, a mathematical equation that allows us to predict values of one dependent variable from known values of one or more independent variable is called regression equation. With one independent variable, the regression equation is y equal to a plus bx. Method is called regression equation. Either if you use one or more independent variable. But if you have one independent is called the equation of state line. Is also called the equation of state line, linear regression equation or equation of state line. So where y is the dependent, x is independent variable, a is the intercept. You have used this equation many times in mathematics, this equation of state line. A is the intercept, b is the slope of the regression line. Okay, so main purpose of regression is prediction, estimation of the value of y with the help of x. X may be 1 or 2 or 3 variables, independent variable may be 1 or 2 or 3 and so on. If you use this equation is called regression equation, equation of the state line or regression line, etc. So how we fit the equation, how we find the regression equation or regression line. So there are different methods. We will study one method of the least square, fitting of regression line or state line using method of least square. So if you have different values, n values, pair values, the least square line approximating the point given by the set of values x1, y1, x2, y2 and so on up to xn, yn has the equation y equal to a plus bx. For least square line, for regression line, for state line, all are same, there is no difference. So for n observation we will use this equation. If the trend of the data, scatter diagram represent the linear or approximate linear, we use this model. In this model you have two variables, one dependent, one independent, and two unknown, constant term, intercept and slope. So first we will find the value of a and b, and you know that for two unknown we require two equations. This is the rule of the mathematics. If you have two unknowns we require two equations. If you have three unknowns we require three equations for the value of unknown term. The number of equation should be same as equal to number of unknowns. Then you can find the exact solution, exact value. You can also find the value of a and b if the number of equation and number of unknowns are not equal, not same. Then we use another method. But you can solve simultaneously two equation for two unknowns, three equation for three unknown for the values of unknown terms. So we require two equations, and in this there are n observation x1, y1, x2, y2. You know that for a single value you can write y equal to a plus bx, but if you have two values y1, y2, x1, x2, then we require notation here y1 plus y2, x1 plus x2. Same as the formula of the mean you have used in mean summation fi into xi. Summation indicate more than one values, n observation for n classes, n groups. So if you apply the summation sign both side in this equation, you will obtain this equation. So where the constant a and b are obtained by solving simultaneously the equations, if you apply the summation sign both sides you will obtain summation y, and summation means n observation. This is the constant term, any constant term, suppose a n times will be n into a. If you write 1 n time 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 instead of 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus n time, you can write number of time n multiplied by 1 or n multiplied by 2 So here n number of observation. If you have any value, any constant term 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or any numerical value multiplied by number of term, you will obtain the n terms. Okay, so for with constant term we write summation sign. If you write summation sign, summation means n observation, because we are using here n values, finite number of observations. Plus b, summation x is the variable. There are n variables, x1, x2, x3, x4 up to xn. X values of x are also n times, but this is the variable. Variable means changeable. This value may be any numerical value, but this is the fixed constant. Now, derivation of this method of least square is not included in this topic, in this syllabus, but first we will apply summation sign both sides. You will obtain this equation, and then again multiply this equation by x both sides and apply the summation sign. You will obtain this equation. X summation multiplied by x will be x into y. Apply the summation sign and multiply by this a by x. You will obtain x, and apply the summation sign will be summation x b, and this will be summation x square. Now with the help of these two equations you can find the value of a and b. If you solve simultaneously these two equations, you have done many times in mathematics and statistics. If you solve simultaneously these two equations, you will obtain the value of a and b, this value or this value. Or by using the substitution method, you will obtain same value a and b. So solution of equation 1 and 2 gives a and b, this result and this result. If you simplify using the transformation and simplification, you will obtain this also. So you can use direct this, because derivation is not included under this topic and this syllabus. So if you first calculate mean of y, mean of x data, and then after calculating the b, multiply b with mean of the x and substitute the value of y, you will obtain the a. So from this equation you can also find a. And how we find this summation x square, summation x, summation xy? This is very simple. Suppose if you have a data with two variables x and y, independent and dependent variable, and suppose the values of x are 1 to 5 and y is also 1 2 3 4 5, maybe any value, and sum of x will be obtained at the end of this. If you add all these values, you will obtain summation x. Add all these values, you will obtain summation y. And same as first calculate individual x square, and then add all these values, you will obtain summation x square, and multiply x by y individually simultaneously, and then add all values, you will obtain summation xy. So after calculating the sum of all values, required term, substitute here summation y, summation x square, summation x, summation xy, divided by n is the number of observations, paired observations. Here number of observations are 5, not 10. Okay, this is the paired observation, this is the complete one observation, 2, 3, 4, 5 observation, n will be equal to 5 here. So after substituting all these values, you will obtain the value of a and b, and then substitute. After substituting the value of a and b, this will be numerical value. Put in equation number a here and here. The equation is called the fitted equation of regression line. Is denoted by y hat or y cap or y prime. This equation is called regression equation, regression line. If you use straight line, equation of the straight line, you can also use this term regression line, means fitted equation of straight line. So purpose of regression is to estimate the value of y with the help of x, and the value of x may be within the range of the given data, outside the range of the data. So I will explain in numericals. So the first question, the following data represent the intelligence test score and statistics marks of a group of 12 students. number of students are 12, the IQ test score of the first student 65, second 50 and so on 55, and statistics marks of this student 85, this student 74 and so on. And this is the paired observation, because this is the IQ test of same student, this is the statistic marks of the same student. Okay, this is the paired observation. Find the equation of the regression line and estimate the mass of the statistics when the IQ test score is 45 and 75. From this sentence you can decide the type of the variables. Either this is X IQ test or statistics marks is X or Y. In this statement this is given, estimate the mass of the statistic with the help of IQ test. So this mass of the statistic depend on the IQ test score. So this is the Y and this is the X. So we will represent IQ test by X, statistics marks by Y. For regression line, first we will calculate X square of all these values, X into Y, multiply all X with corresponding Y, and then add all these values. You will obtain summation X, summation Y, summation X square, summation XY, and then substitute in the formula of the value of A and B. First calculate B, because after calculating the B you can use this formula of the A for the value of A. So substitute here N12, summation XY this value, summation X, summation Y from this data, these values, and divided by N summation X square, this is the summation X whole square. Simplify, you will obtain 0.897, and then substitute in the formula of A, put here B, this value, X bar, mean of the X will be obtained, summation of X divided by number of observation 12, mean of Y will be obtained, this value divided by 12, and then substitute here Y bar, X bar, simplify, A is 30.056, and then substitute the value of A and B in equation of a straight line. A is this 30.056 plus B is 0.897, X will be as it is X. This equation is called fitted equation or regression equation or regression line. And after this, estimate the value of dependent variable, mass of this statistic with the help of IQ test 45 and 75. You can observe in this data the 45 is not given. You can also estimate the given value. Suppose if you substitute this value 50, you will obtain same as this value or approximately same as this value of Y from this equation. If you substitute 50 here in this equation, multiply by this plus this, you will obtain estimated value, not exact this value. Or you can estimate unknown values not given. 45 is not given in this X, 75 is also not given in this, but 45 is outside the range of the data. Minimum value is here 50, maximum is 70. 45 is outside the range, or within the range, sorry. 45, for minimum is 50, outside the range. This 45 is outside the range, sorry. 45 is not given here. The minimum value is 50, after 50, 55 and maximum is 70, outside the range, and 75 is also outside the range because the highest value is 70. So if any value, either the minimum side or maximum side outside the range of lower value and upper value, then the estimation is called extrapolation. If you substitute the value of X outside the range of the data, outside the range of the data means value of X, not Y. So if you substitute value of x 1 by 1 in this equation 45, the estimated value is 70.421 or approximately 70, or you can also round off up to 71, and 75, put here 75, you will obtain 97. So this value will be more than the highest value and this value will be less than or equal to the lowest value. You can observe 45, the minimum is 50, the value is 76 here, there is no 70. So less than 50, 45, you will obtain less value than the given value of the y. Same as highest value or upper value, maximum value, more than maximum value. In this data, the 75, highest value is 70, the y is 87. Okay, if y is 87 when x is 70, so if x is 75, the y will be more than 87, is the 97. Okay, so if you substitute the value of x, independent variable, in fitted equation, either the lower side or upper side more than, both is called extrapolation. Estimation is called extrapolation. Extrapolate, find, estimate करना. If the value of x within the range, for example, suppose if you take this value, any value 55 within the range, because 50 and 70, if you take 65 within the range 50 and 70, or any unknown value, suppose 63 is not given here, 64 is not given here, within the range, but within the range, is called interpolation. Is called interpolation. But either the value lower side outside the range, upper side outside the range, or within the range is called estimation, prediction, forecasting, or estimated value. The method is called regression. Okay, so main purpose of regression is to create an equation or model used for estimation the value of y, dependent variable, with the help of independent variable. If the graph is a straight line or approximately straight, we use the equation of the straight line. If the graph is with one curve, we use the equation of the second degree equation, quadratic equation, y equal to a plus bx plus cx square, and so on. We have a large number of models. We select the model first with the help of a scatter diagram, and then find the unknown values a, b, c, and so on, and then substitute in the model, general model, for estimation. Okay, now question for homework. In a study between the amount of the rainfall and the quantity of air pollution, remove the following data were collected. Daily rainfall in 0.01 centimeters given, but there is no importance of this unit in statistics. I have already explained this. So this is the daily rainfall in 0.01 centimeter, 4.3, and so on. Particular removed y are given here in microgram per cubic meter. So particulate remove depend on rainfall, daily rainfall. So this is the y, this is the x. This is already given in this x and y. And but suppose if x and y is not given, so first we will decide which variable is independent and which is independent, which is dependent variable, and then decide x and y for the regression equation. So find the equation of the regression line to predict the particulate removed from the amount of daily rainfall. Estimate the amount of particulate removed from when the daily rainfall is 4.3. 8 units. Okay, next time we will start correlation. Correlation is the part of the regression. In correlation, we will measure the degree of relationship between the variable. Allah Hafiz.